This is The Mortals. This is the place where we take down the walls brick by brick and pull back the curtain on life's rawest moments. Around here, nothing is off limits. Life, death, the mess, the messy desk, and a few stories I'd honestly rather not share and forget. But I'll share them anyway. Because this season, I'm going deeper than ever and exploring the truth behind the masks that we wear, the voices that we sometimes ignore. We're touching it all. And today's episode is a double feature, a matinee. 2 true stories that'll stick with you long after the episode ends. One begins with a missed flight that should have ruined everything and everyone. The other, an empty chair that no one expected to be filled, let alone become empty in the first place, until it was. These aren't ghost stories, but they might haunt you. This is The Mortals, where we talk about life, death, and everything beautifully, messily human in between. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so if you want stories that'll make you feel a little more alive and maybe a little less alone, mark your calendar, people, set a reminder, tie a string around your finger, whatever works. And before we jump in, a quick warning. If you don't hit follow, you may be cursed to give the eulogy at your ex's funeral with our new partner sitting front row, judging your every word, unblinking, cross-armed, possibly chewing gum even. Avoid that. Hit follow. All right, let's get into it. There are moments in life we only understand in hindsight. Moments that don't seem like anything at all until we realize they changed absolutely everything. This is the story of one of those moments. It's a story about running late, something we've all done. About forgotten phones and long security lines. About a man named Daniel who missed a flight. And by missing it, his fate was saved. But what makes this story so strange and so hard to ignore is why he missed it. And what happened when he tried to explain it. Daniel was 34, an architect, not particularly spiritual, not into anything weird either. Logical, grounded. The kind of guy who double-checked the locks every night and always showed up 5 minutes early. The guy who had the mother that said, if you're not early, you're late. He was flying to Los Angeles for a client pitch. It was a big deal. Career-defining. He had stayed up late, perfecting his presentation, and then even set 2 alarms for 5 a.m. and 5:05 a.m. He'd laid out his clothes, packed a charger, zipped his suitcase, closed up, ready to go by midnight. And the next morning, he woke up at 6:27. Both alarms not set. He still doesn't know how. He panicked, threw on his clothes, skipped breakfast, frantically opened the Lyft app and scheduled a car while brushing his teeth. The flight was American Airlines 1405, departing JFK at 8:10 a.m. He got to the airport at 7:19. Tight, but possible. But then came security. The TSA line snaked around like a cruel joke. Daniel cursed under his breath. He checked his watch every 30 seconds. Then, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He silenced it. Buzzed again. He looked down. Unknown number. Same number. Something in him told him to answer. And so he did. And that's when things got strange. The voice on the line wasn't familiar. It was calm, gentle. A woman's voice. She said, "Mr. Daniel Reynolds? This is Donna, calling from your hotel in Los Angeles. I'm just confirming your early check-in today." Odd. He did not request that call. And he responded, "Sorry, who did you say you were with?" Silence. Then, "Please don't get on that plane." The line went dead. Daniel stood frozen. The buzz of airport life moved around him, but he was completely still. Please don't get on that plane. It didn't make sense. His stomach dropped. He reached the front of the line. TSA waved him through. He had 10 minutes to get to the gate. He started to run. Then, he stopped. Something told him, don't. He didn't know why. He didn't know who Donna was. But he couldn't shake the feeling that if he boarded that flight, he wouldn't come home. He let the plane go, sat in a terminal Starbucks, ordered a coffee he didn't drink. Then the alerts came in. American Airlines Flight 1405 never made it to Los Angeles. 10 minutes after takeoff, it lost an engine. The pilot declared an emergency. Witnesses say the right wing exploded in midair. The plane went down in a remote field outside rural America. There were no survivors. Daniel stared at the screen. His name was on that manifest. His seat, 14C. He should have been there. Every friend, every coworker, every relative, they thought he was. His phone rang again, and it was his mom crying hysterically. She had just seen the news. He couldn't explain it. He didn't try to. He just said, "I missed the flight." 2 days later, Daniel called the hotel in Los Angeles, just to follow the thread. No Donna on staff. No one had called him. No record of any call to his number. He checked his call log. There was no record of the number. It wasn't even listed. Daniel never found out who or what stopped him from getting on that plane. Some say it was intuition. Others say fate. But Daniel, he says, it felt like mercy. And ever since that day, he never slept through an alarm clock again. Sometimes miracles seem to come loud, and other times very quiet. Sometimes they dial your number. This is The Mortals. Quick shout out to the tool that makes this show possible, Descript. If you've ever wanted to start your own podcast, edit audio like a pro, or just make your voice heard, Descript is the tool that I use every single episode. With features like automatic transcription, easy audio editing, and even AI-powered voice cloning, Descript takes the headaches out of podcasting, so you can focus on the stories that matter and sound like a pro along the way, even if you don't necessarily know what you're doing. Try it for yourself for free at get.descript.com/Nathan Morris. Again, that is get.descript.com/Nathan Morris. There's a moment in every person's life, the one that you definitely didn't plan for, that splits a story into two. There was before, and then there's everything that came after. For 41-year-old Mark Halperin, that moment was a phone call, a Tuesday morning, with a police officer's voice on the other end. He was told something no parent should ever hear. And what he did next changed the lives of more than 3,000 children. Mark lived in Denver, divorced, single dad to a 14-year-old boy named Jonah. They had their routine, morning pancakes, bad dad jokes, ESPN on mute in the background. Jonah was quiet, a thoughtful kid, a little awkward, but in a beautiful way. He loved to build things, Legos, models, circuits. He had dreams of being an aerospace engineer. That Tuesday morning, Jonah didn't come down for breakfast, and Mark assumed he was dragging his feet again. Until the call came, 7:42 a.m. A driver had lost control, hit the sidewalk. Jonah had actually left already and was walking to school. He was gone before his father even arrived. Just like that. Mark didn't speak for 2 days. He didn't eat, didn't cry, didn't scream. He just sat in Jonah's room, staring at the unmade bed, at the desk lamp still glowing from the night before, at the empty chair. That chair would become a symbol, a haunting one. He thought about putting it in storage, then burning it, then chaining it to the sidewalk where Jonah died. But instead, he left it. And one night, 3 weeks after the funeral, Mark sat in that chair and said out loud, "I can't live for myself anymore. So I'll live for him." Mark didn't know what that meant at first, living for Jonah. He wasn't rich, wasn't a public speaker, wasn't trying to make a difference. He was broken. And then one day, while scrolling aimlessly on Facebook like we all do, he saw a post. It was a public high school asking for help. They needed someone to volunteer in their STEM lab twice a week. He clicked it. He showed up, and something shifted. The first time he helped a student solder a wire, he felt Jonah. Not in a mystical way, just in a warm, present way. He kept coming back. By year 2, Mark had created a weekend club, the Launchpad. It started with just 6 kids, then 15, then 40. He bought tools out of pocket, got donations, built a mini maker space in an unused basement room. By year 4, he'd quit his job and turned the Launchpad into a nonprofit, partnering with local tech firms, universities. The program grew into a haven for kids who didn't quite fit anywhere else. The quiet kids, the awkward kids, the creative kids, kids just like Jonah. 10 years later, on the anniversary of Jonah's death, Mark gave a speech to a graduating class of Launchpad students. He brought the chair, that same wooden desk chair Jonah sat in the night before he died. Worn, scratched, still bearing the pencil marks carved into the edge. He placed it on stage and said, "This chair was empty for a long time. It still is, in some ways, but it also became the place I found the rest of you." He told them about the grief, the darkness, the moment he chose not to disappear into it. And 300 students stood and clapped, most of them with tears in their eyes. Some of them would go on to become engineers, coders, teachers. One of them, Jonah's age, would eventually take over the nonprofit. And the chair, Mark said, would stay in the Launchpad forever. As a reminder, not of death, but what can come after it. Sometimes grief guts you. Sometimes it buries you. And other times, if you let it, it becomes your greatest teacher. I mean, Mark lost his son, but he found 3,000 others. If someone you loved changed your entire life after they were gone, I would love to hear your story. Become immortal. Link is in the description and show notes. Might just share it. And until next time, that empty chair may not be empty forever. Thank you for listening to The Mortals. If you're ever experiencing something that you feel to be miraculous, unexplainable, or just need to share your story, you can reach out to us. Join The Mortals. Link is in the description and show notes. Your story might be the one that saves someone else. Or I might share.